G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm of course the Calculus, and today we're going to be taking a look at the path of champions in Legends Runeterra. We are going to be going over a few things today that I think needs to be pointed out coming off the previous run that I did yesterday against the Nexus. So as we all know, in that video I did mention that was probably one of the more frustrating runs I've done here on the channel. In fact, I got a little bit emotional at certain points, I would say. Well, nothing too dramatic, obviously. It's just a little bit of grievances that I was a little bit frustrated with. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and do a little bit of a post-mortem, a little bit of a review of that. I think it will be important so that we can potentially see any potential flaws or bugs in that particular run. So really quick video today. I'm just going to go over two of what I deem are possibly problems or bugs, new bugs I should say, after the patch preview, which sounds crazy because the patch was supposedly to fix the bugs, and unfortunately I feel like, there might have been new bugs introduced, which is, well, quite frankly, a little bit concerning because, it just goes to show there's probably not much thought or effort going into it. And again, this is not a knock on anybody there. I know it sounds really harsh, but just the reality, I'm calling it as I see it. If, something's not polished, that means, somebody dropped the ball, and, we just have to call it out like that. Anyway, like I said, we are taking a look at two things today, so let's go over the first issue first, which is regarding the sun disc. Now, I know the sun disc was supposedly fixed in the preview, and in fact it is fixed because there's an instance, I believe in yesterday's video, if you guys caught that, we triggered the sun disc a total of only 2 times, but out of the 2 times, one of it was successful, the other one was a little bit weird. And the reason why I say it's weird is because of the way it played out. Now, to be fair, one thing that I will mention is that a commenter let me know that I possibly did not have enough space on the board, so maybe that was why it triggered the bug. But having reviewed the video, it feels a little bit weird. I guess it can be something like that. I'm not even sure if it's considered, a lack of space, because when you see for yourself, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's go ahead and just watch this clip and then you'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and review this clip.
Fall to pieces.
It is time!
That old trick again. Scared of a fair fight? You are better than this.
Alright, so hopefully you guys caught that there, and this is what I was saying about the weird thing with the sun disc. So, as we all know, it is fixed. There was a battle later on, which I might just show you. I believe it's against the Ezreal, where we got to see the sun disc, and it is fixed. Hey guys, Future Calculus here, and I just wanted to interject myself and basically just show you the Ezreal clip, because unfortunately I forgot to record that segment. So, yeah, basically I just wanted to interject this here. Yes, the sun disc is working. We're just going to use this clip as a control group. So, let me hit play, and then you will see the sun disc trigger, and then the Nexus here should be able to get their level 3 ascendants.
Golden and gleaming, Shurima is reborn.
Alright guys, so as you can see, the Nexus did level up here, as you can see. Basically, he did go up to a ascended level 3 because the sun disc did trigger. So yeah, this was the successful situation compared to the earlier one. So if those of you who have been watching rather keenly, you probably noticed that there is a big difference here, which is the fact that we have significantly less amount of units on the board. Now, I will address this in a couple of seconds, so continue watching the video. I'm just going to end this one here because basically I just wanted to showcase this Ezreal situation here just as a control group. But in this particular situation against the Ashe, for some reason, I got the regular sun disc instead. Now, one of you did mention, like I said, I'm just going to pull up that comment again just to get my facts straight. And basically, this guy actually mentioned that I probably did not have enough space on the board. That's why I couldn't trigger the sun disc. Well, that would be correct because essentially, I did not have enough space on the board initially. Before the Nexus struck and killed, with the CSF, because I'm running a CSF Nexus, if you caught that video that I shared yesterday. I'm running a CSF Nexus, so essentially, it slew or slain the unit next to it, which means it frees up a slot, which means we only have 5 units on the board, which means we should have enough space for a sun disc. Now, it did summon a sun disc, but instead of summoning a restored sun disc, I got a buried sun disc instead. This is just really bizarre to me because it did say it's gonna summon a restored sun disc. In fact, I'm just gonna pull up this stop out here just to prove it to you that, I did not misread anything. So, restored sun disc, right? Unfortunately, we get a buried Sunders instead in this instance. Now, I'm not really sure what went wrong here. I guess it could be a bug, or maybe, again, like I said, I'm missing something. Maybe, it sees the Slate units first, and then, sorry, not the Slate units, but the regular units first, and then it discounts the Slate after that. Like I said, I'm not really sure. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but if this is a bug, this is really, really poor from Riot, at least in my opinion. I'm just being really, really frank here. Alright, issue number 2 I want to talk about here is regarding the Poro Fluff. So if you guys caught yesterday's run, you'll remember that I picked up a Poro Fluff in that one, which of course initially I thought in my head was really, really good. I was a little bit harsh and critical of the Poro Fluff in my patch preview because I did mention the Poro Fluff. I didn't really see any use of it because it's going to reset the stats to 1. But having seen it on the Nexus yesterday, picking up on the Nexus obviously, it seemed like a good pick because you must remember the Nexus is actually a 6 cost 2-2 unit. So with the Poro Fluff, even though you're losing 1 stat on your attack and health, you're still bringing down the cost from a 6 to 1. That's a really big drop here. So obviously, in that sense, it's a really good pickup on the Nexus because you get a 1 cost Nexus for 1-1. Now that is good, that is all well and fine, so the Poro Fluff could be a viable pick. But here's the problem, the Poro Fluff actually resets the stats after you level up, which in my opinion, I find really, really weird. And not only really, really weird, really, really infuriating as well, because you work hard to get those stacks on the Nexus, and basically it just drops off like that. It's just really such a game killer in my opinion. I'm really hoping this is a bug. But if it's not a bug, I'm just gonna steer clear of this item, so from here on out, I would say. So, if Riot's watching out there, I'd really highly recommend looking at this. I really don't want to be too harsh, but the fact that you released this item into the live game, and I'm not sure if you tested this, assuming you tested this, and somehow this skipped through your playtest or whatsoever, you need to have a chat with the people who's running the playtest. And if assuming that, this was playtested and, it was intended to work like that, I'm not really sure what's the decision making or the thought process behind this, particular item here, I would say. Resetting the stats back to 1-1 after getting, your stat buffs and whatnot. I don't know what's the reasoning behind that. I genuinely do not. Maybe it just is unique to the Nexus because the Nexus will get a +1/+1 for every unit slain, but it still shouldn't function this way. I just cannot understand the logic behind having this reset on the Nexus, if it is unique to the Nexus, obviously. So potentially take a look at this, I would say. Anyway, we are just gonna go ahead and replay the clip just to show you that, what's happening. I don't want to just, speak for myself. I'd rather let the footage demonstrate or basically provide you the example. That would be far better. So let's go ahead and rewind the clip a little bit to the point where the Nexus has not leveled up yet, approximately about here. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit play and then we'll see what happens.
Your Emperor has returned.
I offer my service, Undying One.
Stand down.
The expanse of eternity stretched out before me.
Alright, as you can see, it does reset. I had a 10-10 Nexus, a, stage 1 or basic Nexus, if you will. And then what happened was after striking, it went back down to a 1-1. It lost all its stats, and basically it's now a 1-1 Nexus again. Now, one of you actually left me a comment in that video saying that it's considered a different card, which in my opinion doesn't really make sense. I'm not blaming you because, first of all, thank you for providing this information. It's really interesting to see how the game actually registers these cards. It's actually even more interesting to, realize that, essentially when you think about it, the game registers a leveled up champion as a new champion. Where's the logic in that? I cannot simply wrap my head around this. It just does not make sense. It's the same card we're talking about here. The same card that we have on the board. It's not, say, a different card that's coming on a different turn. It's the same exact identical card that was on the board at the beginning. Struck the unit. It is still the same card after leveling up, but the game somehow registers that as a new champion for some reason, and because it does that, it resets the stats back down to 1. It makes zero sense and zero logic, at least in my opinion. So yeah, that's basically the two things that I just wanted to highlight in yesterday's run. I think these are potentially bugs. I'm not sure myself because obviously, I'm not one of the people creating this game or designing this game. I hope anyone out there who's actually involved in their work team or the development team, I implore you to take a look at this. I seriously do, because it's not giving a good impression. I'm just going to be really, really frank here. It's not giving a good impression if you're releasing fixes and so-called items and, well, I'm gonna put in quotes here,
balance changes.
but basically instead of fixing the problem, you're causing more problems instead, which I think is a little bit antithetical, if you will, or basically a little bit conflicting to what you're trying to do. But again, like I said, this is not me trying to knock or criticize anybody who's working on the game. I'm just highlighting this issue, so, you know, potentially look at this. That's all I'm saying, because it would really matter to people like us who play Path of Champions. All these problems, essentially, they might be minute or, you know, insignificant, but basically when you combine them all together, it can potentially lead to a really frustrating experience for the player. So, you know, it really needs to be addressed, at least the way I look at it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, as well as joining me here on this really short video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, consider leaving a like as well as subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate its support. Feel free to leave me your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I think issues like this really need to be discussed and potentially propagated. That way people at Riot will potentially see this and hopefully look into potential problems. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching as well as joining me on this one. Now, we've also launched channel memberships here on the channel, so for those of you who would like to show me a little bit extra support, I really do appreciate that. You can do so by hitting the join button down below, or potentially finding out more first via the memberships tab on my channel page. This is Kavlo signing off. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.